Okay, guys, this is the talky part. I guess this is the part where I'm supposed to say, hey, guys, welcome to my channel. If you like what you see, click like and subscribe and tell your friends. So, some words about the video you just saw. There's 5 amps in the rack of flavor. We have a Marshall 1987X plexi kind of thing, 50 watts. We have a Marshall Silver Jubilee, 100 watts. That's a reissue. We have a Buddha Super Drive 80. It's an amp that uses 4 6L6 tubes. It hasn't been made in a while. I got it used a little while ago. It does high gain really nicely. I think it really excels in Fender type guitars. If you run a Les Paul through it, it tends to start sounding just like the Marshall, I think, but it's still got a real kind of open, hollowy kind of sound to it that I really like. You can also, of course, turn the gain way down and use it just as a clean amp, and it sounds great. Very Fender twin-ish when you do that. It also has a lead channel. I hate to use the D word, but I think it kind of starts to go into Dumble territory a little bit. I think just the 6L6s sort of do that. Next, we have a Fender 68 custom deluxe reverb. It was a special issue that Fender started doing a couple of years ago. I think they still do it, but basically it's a deluxe reverb chassis. It looks exactly the same. The only difference is channel 1 and channel 2, rather than being just regular and reverb plus vibrato. Now channel 1 is a Fender Bassman circuit, and channel 2 is a regular deluxe reverb circuit. They cut the bright cap, or maybe there is no bright cap at all. I don't know, but that was a mod that I did to deluxe reverbs. That was the amp I played live for years and years, and so I'm really glad they did that. Works great for a live amp because it takes pedals really well without that bright cap in it. On the bottom of the flavor rack is the Vox AC13 15 AC15CH head to get the Vox flavor, the chime. They're all going through my brand new custom built Kruse amp switcher. This is a 5x5 switcher that, as you can see in the close-ups, has an input for the guitar. Highly recommended that you use some kind of buffered pedal. In fact, probably necessary that you use some sort of buffered pedal to cut down any oscillation problems. That is in the instructions that you get when you get the amp. I tried to bend those rules a little bit by just using a volume pedal, but you got to use the buffered pedal if you want to avoid any squealing if you're using a high gain amp. On the left side of the Kruse, those red cables are all going to the inputs of the amps, 1 through 5. The bottom of the switcher, the speaker outputs from each amp go into that. And then on the top of the unit, there's 5 cabinet outputs as well. Right now you can see I only have one cabinet plugged in. That cabinet is in a different room from this studio. It is in a big amp shed that was built for me, and that amp shed is filled with, it's mic'd inside there with a Royer R121 and a Shure SM57. And then it's got a bunch of acoustic foam padding inside, completely sealed, more padding on the outside, so that I can kind of crank these amps, especially that 100-watt Marshall, without murdering my family and people for a couple blocks around us. Very helpful. And then I do have everything going through a pedal board, which is right below me. I'll give you a close-up of that on a cutaway here. But basically on the pedal board, tuner first, and the tuner, aside from being a tuner, is kind of my on-off kill switch. Goes through a Vox wah-wah pedal and a Wampler mini ego compressor, which I rarely use. I've got a MXR bass octave deluxe there. If I'm kind of doing maybe a loop with some, just jamming with myself, I can throw in a little bass line on that. It's just for fun. The only pedal I use really with these amps on any regular basis is the MXR micro amp to push the front. You will hear that in the second half of the guitar solo that I did on the Jenny cover. And then all of that goes into a humdinger by the Gig Rig folks, buffered pedal, and the humdinger, then buffered output, goes to the Kruse switcher. There's a second output on the humdinger, which I can use to do a direct line into Pro Tools, which then I can reamp, send a signal that I recorded into 1 amp back, so I can kind of have a stereo effect by having 2 different amps doing the exact same guitar performance. Usually I prefer to play it twice because it gives it that thicker sound, but there you go. Thanks for watching. Leave any comments below if you have any questions or thoughts about the Flavor Rig, and I hope you like the other stuff on my channel. Thanks a lot.